I know you've been busy as fuck. You haven't been
Dude,
shooting or nothing.
this is how you know I'm dedicated, bro. And I'm not trying to like pat myself on the back, but now, dude, I started working like 2 full-time jobs now, dude. And then I gotta come here, do a vid, and then my girlfriend helped out, like moved in the bed, which was the hardest part and all that jazz. But
Yeah.
finally moved in, dude. Football TV, how's it going? Please let me know if we are lagging. Ricardo, what up? Cameron, what up? Lakers in 6, absolutely not. Y'all already know it's Rockets in 7. Abigail said in chairs. Yes, she did bring in the chairs herself, and the chairs are 3/4 her size. Are we lagging, Mr. Cody?
Not from what I can tell.
Not from y'all. Not y'all lag. Well, the reason why I asked football is because just moved into a new place. Louis, what is up? You know, brand new apartment by downtown. So pretty excited. That's where our little festivities are going to be at, Mr. Cody.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, sir. We are. Cody is lagging, but that's okay. Cody is always lagging.
Yeah.
Shannon says hi, Ruben. Hello, Shannon. Brian says we are not. So we're gonna get into the DeAndre thing a little bit later. Because when we are more people deep. Am I pissed about the Jamal Adams trade? No. Here's the thing. I told y'all that there was a very little chance that Jamal Adams came. I just wanted the Houston Texans to try to get him. And the only thing that really got me upset about that whole thing was they're being praised for generally the same thing that we did to get Laramie Tunsil.
Okay. I actually haven't seen that. I've been seeing the opposite. I've been seeing more people bash him than I have been seeing praise him. So I don't know what exactly you're seeing. Is it national media or is it Twitter or what?
It's Twitter. It's national. Well, national media is basically saying that this dude, this was a very good move. He brought out the dose. Yes, he did.
Okay, maybe my chat isn't working. That's weird.
You know how it is. Cody doing that, that product placement, trying to get us sponsored by Dos Equis. So
that'd be nice.
Dos Equis, if you're watching this, eggs, baby, eggs. It's like this double standard.
Ricardo's an ass.
Dude, this double standard is like the Seahawks look amazing, right? They get one of the best safeties in the NFL, which Jamal Adams is. Ricardo, thank you for the $2. Lakers in 6, absolutely not. I will send you back that's $2 when the Houston Rockets win. Like I say, ladies and gentlemen, you guys don't have to donate. I do this for the love of the game. I do this for you guys. But if you want to, definitely wouldn't mind it. But, I mean, the Jets got to steal 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and a safety who isn't that bad.
Well,
not bad at all.
It was 2 firsts and a third.
2 firsts and a third.
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
And we gave up 2 firsts, a second to get Kenny Stills and Laramie Tunsil. Kind of the same trades, kind of.
Yeah, pretty close. Close enough for conversation.
Yeah, what about AB? So the whole thing about AB is that apparently he's said that he wants to get help, that he's trying to get help, that the NFL will not let him in, that he has people who, he has teams that want him, and everybody knows that the Houston Texans are one of the teams that do want Antonio Brown. But, does this Jets trade, make the Seahawks better, Cody?
Man, I think, and it does right now. Obviously, Jamal Adams is a premier talent at safety, but trading what they traded for Jamal Adams is going to hurt them in the long run. Safety is not a premier position in the NFL. I love the safety position. I think it's very undervalued, but the NFL doesn't value it. That's just the way it is. And give up 2 firsts, a third, plus a pretty decent player, that's a lot, man. That is a lot for a safety, and obviously short-term they'll be better, but I think it was a horrible trade on Seattle's part. In my opinion, New York won the trade.
Oh, yeah. And, the Jets might not even I'm sorry, the Seahawks might not even be able to afford him. So that could be a situation. What I thought that was cool, and Jordan from Texan Thoughts brought it up earlier about how we were told that like no free agent wants to come to the Houston Texans. Well, Jamal Adams said he would want to go here. Antonio Brown said he want to go here. So I really like that. Shannon says, what do you think the most valuable position that is not the quarterback?
Edge rusher, and then it's left tackle. And those two go hand in hand because they're, one is rushing the quarterback and one's protecting the quarterback. So you can argue, there can be an argument for either one in second, but it's either edge rusher or left tackle.
I have to go with left tackle too, man, because you want your quarterback to be protected, and the Houston Texans finally have somebody who could protect Deshaun Watson very good, and he's going to be doing it for the next 3-4 years, which is something that we love. Chiefs are signing Kelechi Osemele.
Kelechi Osemele. Yeah, he was pretty good when he was on the Raiders, and then he got traded to the Jets, and I don't remember the situation, but didn't really work out. I don't know if him and Adam Gase didn't get along, and they just released him, but I forgot he was a free agent. I don't think that's a bad signing for the guy, that just opted out. I think that's a good move for them.
Well, the guy who opted out is an all-pro. Like, he's very good. He's one of the best right tackles in the NFL. So it
wasn't the right tackle. It wasn't
the right guard.
It was the guard, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot.
Yeah.
Cody, he's here.
Who is here?
Dookie Sore 101. He is here. Everybody knows Dookie Sore is one of my favorite subscribers, man, just because of his name, Dookie Sore 101. Sam Bullock, hello. Shannon Wiley. Finally, people respecting the O-line. Yes, we are. Aaron Nagel with the dope Power Rangers helmet as a logo. Hey, guys, what is up? And, I'm not sure if you noticed, Cody, but sports are back, baby. Yeah. We got the Houston Rockets who just had a scrimmage. Everybody looked fine. Harden looked like he was unstoppable. Russell, when he played, he looked very good. Yes, we did lose, but, one of the MVPs was out. But the Houston Astros, 2-0, and they're not just beating the Seattle Mariners. They are obliterating them. Justin Verlander on the mound yesterday struck out 6, allowed 2 home runs. That's the thing about Verlander, though, is he's going to allow the long ball, but he's going to shut you down. And, Michael F. and Brantley is probably one of the best things that Jeff Luhnow has done. Today, Lance McCullers pitched a little bit shaky. He walked the first couple, but settled down, struck out 6. Houston Astros 2-0, Cody. The Houston Astros are going to win the World Series.
I'm not much of a baseball guy. I watch them when I can. I went to a few games the last 2 years, but definitely, they got the chip on the chip on their shoulder. That plays a factor in every sport. So, I wouldn't disagree with you there.
Tony Yayo said Bill O'Brien is. I can't say that word. Bill O'Brien is gay. He got 2 first round. Here's the thing, and this is something that that we could get into, Cody. But first, let me answer Shannon's question. Lance McCullers looked very shaky at first, but became kind of lights out. The thing about Lance McCullers is he's been injury plagued his whole career. So if he manages to stay healthy and keep up that stuff, he would be a good pitcher for us this season. Also, Chris Davinsky was lights out. Nesto said, "What's up, Calvillo? Nice haircut." Yes, these guys are kind of my sponsors, right? So let me pull up the name real quick so I don't, butcher it. But Cody, what do you think about, how Jamal leveraged himself out of New York?
In terms of leveraging himself as to what Seattle gave up for him, pretty impressive. Like I said earlier, safety is not a prominent position in the NFL, and to get 2 first or third plus a player is definitely a haul for the Jets. And it's not like Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams is nice, but he's not Ed Reed. He's not prime Ed Reed. That's a different type of player. And I can't believe it. I said in the chat, I was like, I can't believe they just gave this up. Easy win for the Jets. I never thought they would get more than what the Jacksonville Jaguars got for Jalen Ramsey. Corner is more prominent position than safety is in the NFL. So, but as far as leverage, you can kind of compare it to. I've seen a lot of comparisons today on how the Hopkins situation went down with us. That Bill O'Brien and Hopkins were beefing behind the scenes or whatever, and that may have caused us to, or it lowered Hopkins' comp value.
Yep.
Right? And then Jamal Adams is out there publicly trashing his team and asking for a trade and all that stuff, and then he gets 2 first and a third. So that excuse for the Hopkins trade, that narrative for the Hopkins trade, goes completely out the window. It goes completely out the window for me. How does a guy that's been made a public circus out of the situation get 2 first and a second and not a prominent position? Like I don't understand it.
Yeah, so hold on, let me go back. I got my haircut at Houston House of Blends right here in Pasadena, Houston. Great people there. As for Eddie, as for Nino, those guys do great. A lot of people really think the Jets win the trade, and I kind of have to agree with them. I mean, you literally gain potential, starters for your team, 3 extra ones, right? Because that 3rd round pick, everybody expects 3rd round picks to play, right?
The safety's going to start too that they got.
Yeah, 4 starters. Feel like Seattle went all in on that trade. Yeah, Seattle did go all in, and can you blame them? Russell Wilson's getting up there in age. So it's a win now move. Definitely a move that you will want to see the Houston Texans do. We don't know what that is. What do you think about everyone saying that the Colts – hold on, I have this clicker, dude. What do you think about everyone saying that the Colts are winning the AFC South because those people be deaf ASF? Cody has the Colts winning the AFC South this year. I absolutely don't. Here's why. First of all, you have to look at the offensive line. The offensive line for the the Los Angeles Chargers wasn't that good at all. They weren't bad, but they were not good. And
they were pretty bad. They were bottom 5.
I mean, in terms of sack production, he was sacked the 15th most sacked quarterback in the NFL. But he had Mike Williams, he had Keenan Allen, he had Hunter Henry, Austin Eckler, Melvin Gordon, a bunch of weapons that he no longer has, right? The Colts are kind of banking on Michael Pittman Jr. out of USC. They're banking on Jonathan Taylor. They have Marlon Mack. Nobody knows what's going to happen with Marlon Mack. This might be his last year with the Indianapolis Colts. T.Y. Hilton, is there, but just gets there. He's up there in age. So the Colts are going to be a good team because of that offensive line.
Look, I'm taking elite offensive line over elite weapons every day of the week.
I'll take that too.
I'm just saying, if anybody can get open with enough time to throw. We saw that from watching our DBs play last year. We couldn't get a pass rush. Everybody was getting open, even though we were good in coverage for the first 5 seconds, And it's not like the Colts are just devoid of weapons either. You still got T.Y. They got the dude from Ohio State, and we talked about it last week, and I keep
KJ Hamler.
I keep forgetting his name. What?
Is it KJ Hamler?
No. He was drafted last year. He was a rookie last year.
Pascal?
Nope. That he did actually pretty well when the other guy got hurt. Darren helped me last week. I can't remember his name right now, but that Jack Doyle has been a top 5 tight end before, and they upgraded at quarterback. They upgraded at quarterback, and they upgraded defense too. DeForest Buckner. I don't want to imagine him going up against Zach Fulton. I mean, DeForest
Buckner. Is he really an upgrade though? Over 4%?
Oh, Phillip Rivers? I mean, yeah, dude, he hasn't thrown for less than 4,000 yards since 2010.
Yeah, but Jack's not, because we've seen Carson Palmer with the Raiders throw for over 4,000 yards and still lose. My thing is that the ability to be mobile, your quarterback isn't there anymore.
He's never been a mobile guy. He's never won off his mobility.
I'm talking about Jacoby,
okay.
That in your offense.
Do you need it with that offensive line?
I mean, you would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it, but
maybe, but
it's
Rivers is a better passer than Jacoby Brissett, and that's not even close.
It's a tough one because you also have to see how his arm is. We saw towards the end of
Paris Campbell, season, yes, Cameron.
We saw towards the end of last season his arm was not as effective as it was. We all know that when QBs, when they lose that touch, they start to overthrow a bunch of people. We saw that towards the end. Like I said, I'm not going to say they're absolutely going to suck. They're going to be contenders. They always give the Houston Texans problems. It's just going to be really fun to watch. Tony Yadu says that Seattle still has to pay Adams. That's the truth. I mean, they are going to have to pay him. And if not, they lose. They lose. They just botched the trade. He also says Clowney to Houston. That's not going to happen. Pacho Herrera said Harden sucks. Absolutely does not suck. Should be a 2 or 3-time MVP. Should be an NBA championship winner if Chris Paul's hammies didn't just blow out. That was one of the worst. That was one of the 6 days of my life. Jets won the trade in the long term. It's going to help Seattle short term, but Jets will need to draft right from here on out. Louis, that's very good.
100%.
That's spot on.
Yeah, 100%.
New Era said, Colts are trash. New Era, miss you in the Houston Texans group chat, bro. Not going to lie, T.Y. Hilton is a Houston killer. He is, but he's not going against Jonathan Joseph. He's not going against K-Jack. He's going to be going against Bradley Roby, who has shut him down. And they're
Bradley Roby missed
wait. On the Broncos, he has.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then Garyon Conley, who on the Raiders only held him to one catch for 13 yards. Pacho said, why are we talking about the Colts? Well, somebody asked the question, are the Colts going to be, contenders in the divisions?
And they're an AFC South rival.
Okay, here's a good question, right? Kenneth brought it up. Do you think Bob should try to sign Devontae Freeman to help solidify the running game? Chris Johnson appears to be a big question mark. I mean, so is Devontae Freeman. He was not that good last year with the Atlanta Falcons. Their offensive line is okay. It's not bad. It's like middle of the pack offensive line. But if you bring in a Devontae Freeman, what does that say to David Johnson? Or what does that say to Duke Johnson? Now you have, I would love it, another weapon. But if I'm going to add another piece, it's going to be a wide receiver, not a running back.
Devontae Freeman is going to demand more on the market than most of the other running backs on the market right now. And running backs are not hard to come by. Look, if a situation comes where David Johnson gets hurt or Duke Johnson gets hurt, you know what I think they do? They go out and sign Lamar Miller. It's just the easy option. He knows.
You bring him back?
He knows the playbook.
Yeah.
And this offseason, this specific offseason, a guy who knows the playbook, when you're the guy that's supposed to be the guy goes down, it's just a simple option, the easy option, and you don't have to pay him that much.
Colts got no defense. I mean, they have the maniac. They have their brand new defensive tackle.
Ugh.
They have Malik Hooker, who's going to be a future Houston Texan. That's somebody the Houston should target.
Because dude, I've been saying that.
You know who was his go-to guy at Ohio State?
Conley?
Garyon Conley.
Yeah. That's what I've been saying, dude. It would make too much sense because of the connection with Roby and Conley. Plus, at least last year, we were very good in cover one man. Malik Hooker is a single high safety. He'd be perfect for our cover one man situation. And, he hasn't been that great because of injuries in Indianapolis, but also they misuse him. They play ultimately almost 100% double high safety, too high. He needs to thrive. He thrives in single high. So
they run a lot of cover 2 zone up there, man.
Yeah.
More than what they should. Because Malik Hooker, he could just scan the field and just make plays on him. People say Brown to the Seahawks, watch out. But that is wrong. AB to the Texans. Well, first, he has to get brought back into the NFL. Is Cody talking about Paris Campbell? Yes. New era. He just throws hella picks. Yes, he does. Phillip Rivers threw a bunch of interceptions last year that didn't need it to be.
He throws touchdowns too.
Throws a lot of touchdowns. Here's a comment from Lewis. Here's a good one. Texans offense better this year or worse? Cody, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you start.
It's tough because of this offseason. It's really tough because of this offseason. We don't know how long it's going to take these guys to
Get acclimated.
get acclimated to each other and learn the playbook. Look, I was going to bring it up later when we talked about the Deshaun Watson comments, but this offense has had the most turnover on offense in the last 2 years. 3 new starting linemen, you know, 3 new receivers in the last year, a new tight end, 2 new running backs, you know. And I'll talk about it more later when we talk about Deshaun Watson's comments, but that much turnover, it takes time for those guys to mesh, especially that offensive line. You know, they were better last year, but continuity and getting to know those guys, playing multiple years with those guys, it builds up. So, but with this offseason, it's tough for me to say. I could see them being worse, but I could also see them being better. I could I kind of see them being around the same, around the 12th overall offense, same. So that's my prediction.
I want to, Lewis. I'm so glad you answered this question, but I'm gonna really dive into this offense when we get to the Deshaun Watson comments. Cody, how deep are we?
We are 22 deep.
Okay, when we get towards that 28, 27, we'll get into it. Who do you think is going to be the returner for the Texans this year if not DeAndre Carter? I would love to see Isaiah Couture, who we drafted from Rhode Island. I just did a video about him the other day. Actually was speaking to him on Twitter, you know, how I'm excited for him to be a Houston Texan. Would love to see him back there. Would love to see Kiki back there if he wants to ever stay on this team. So, New Era says that the Texans are going to kill the whole AFC South. You got to love it. Pacho said he could run the ball on the Colts. I don't know about that, man. The Colts defense is kind of underrated.
It's very underrated.
Still, I'm not worried about the Colts, dude. I'm not worried about the Colts whatsoever.
We'll see.
Okay, hold on. Let me rephrase. They give me some, like, not fright, but
hesitation.
Any other team? No. I'm not worried about the Jaguars. I'm sure as hell not worried about the Tennessee Titans. You know where I stand. What team are y'all predicting to make the Super Bowl? I mean, you have to say the Kansas City Chiefs again, if not the Houston Texans. On the NFC side, I would love to see Tampa Bay.
I
would love to see TB12.
Yeah, Tampa Bay, the 49ers, the Packers, and the Saints are the 4 teams I see it being, you know, the Final 4 on the NFC side.
Three running back set. Then we are behind on the comments, ladies and gentlemen. Louis said Griffin to Houston. That would be dope. Pacho said Texans should just quit. Sad. Now that's the question. That's the comment. I'm sorry. I'll go back to these comments, but let me get to them. Martin Maldonado's hitting very well the first 2 games. Cameron, if Monty Maldonado keeps this up, the Texans will be dangerous 1 through 9. Right? Texans should just quit and sad. And this is where I'm going to go on my rant, Cody. And I'm sorry, but I've taken too much of this. I've given my full share of hate to Bill O'Brien. I want him fired, right? But at this stage of the year, it's already July. You know, the game against the Chiefs was so long ago. You know, the trade for Hopkins was a couple back. Our own fans expect us to be absolutely garbage. Our own fans think that one wide receiver was our entire offense. It's always Ruben. How are you so optimistic, Ruben? We are not going to be good. We're only going to win 6 games. Are you kidding me? If this is the type of fan base that you are going to be, then don't even watch the damn game. Don't waste your time watching the Houston Texans. Deshaun Watson said it himself. If you're going to hop off the bandwagon, don't hop on when we start winning. What is different, guys, is that Deshaun Watson is about to be the MVP of this year. He is about to go on a tear that is just going to be absolutely insane. And for the people, OB is holding him back. Yes, but Deshaun Watson's greatness is going to overpass that. You know where we saw that? Against the Buffalo Bills. What happened? Puts the game on his back. 3 people going into the end zone. This whole notion that we're going to be absolutely trash, it just doesn't make any sense to me. From our own fans, from people who have been Texan fans since 2002, I don't see it. Right? I mean, what's the point of watching if if you're just gonna say we're gonna suck? Really?
Right.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Sorry, I was trying not to cut you off there, but I understand being skeptical about your team. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical about the team
for sure.
I think we're going like 8-8, 9-7. And, people are freaking out on me. I lost subscribers because I said that. Because, it's not, 10-6, blah, blah, blah. Dude, stuff goes sideways in the NFL like crazy. I'm not saying – worst case scenario for me is 6-10. That's the worst case scenario. And that's because Watson gives you 6 games on his talent alone.
On his talent alone. Not only that, Cody, they want to bring up facts. Let's bring up the facts. The fact is that this offense is going to get better. Lewis, I'm going back to your question. Let me tell you why. Cody, when this Houston Texans offensive line, I've said it. When you have a great offense, you said it just right now, it starts with the offensive line. You know what the record was with the healthy offensive line?
What was it?
It was 3-1.
Okay. Yeah.
3-1, and that loss was against the Carolina Panthers. That was just a horrible game. Do you know how many times he got sacked? He got sacked 8 times in that span of 4 games. 6 of those sacks was against the Carolina Panthers.
That was the stretch with Atlanta and Kansas City.
That was the stretch with Atlanta and all that. You know who was the highest receiver? It wasn't DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
It was Will Fuller. You know who was the second leading receiver? It wasn't DeAndre Hopkins. It was Kenny Stills. You know who was good in touchdowns? It wasn't DeAndre Hopkins. It was Darren Fells. Now, I'm not saying DeAndre Hopkins is trash. I love DeAndre. I'll always love DeAndre. I'll always support him. But this notion that we're going to suck because of number 10 not wearing the Houston Texans colors is absolutely ludicrous. It's absolutely just insane that fans will think that. And I've been, now doing this YouTube game for a while. I was that fan, right? I was the fan to turn off a game and the Houston Texans, if the Houston Astros or Rockets, anybody were losing. But after looking at this team, there's no way this team is going to be, bad. Hardy says the old line was 5-1 in 6 games when played together. Okay, that just proves my point.
Yeah, look, I'm not so much worried about the offense of this team. O'Brien's scheming is a question mark for me, or something to be worked on for me. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it works flawlessly, like Atlanta or Tennessee, 57-14, Then there's games like Carolina, like Denver, like Baltimore, So, but offense does – Watson on the offense, gives you hope. It's the defense that scares me. The defense, we didn't really upgrade it. If you really look at it, we didn't really upgrade it. So, I get being skeptical. I don't think this team's a 6-10 team.
Nope.
And I don't think – I've said, I've given my reasons plenty of times why I think 9-7, why I think that. And it's not because of DeAndre Hopkins. Look, I've said this to you multiple times. I've said this to everybody else multiple times. DeAndre Hopkins was expendable.
Exactly. Everybody was expendable except for number 4.
Exactly. Yes, thank you. He was expendable. You just have to get the right compensation. That's my problem with the trade. I'm not really mad that we traded Hopkins, per se. I'm mad at what we got in return. And that's where people's emotions come in, because they're mad about the same thing. Some people are mad because they love Hopkins and he got traded, whatever. He wanted out, that's fine. I don't care if we traded him. We just have to get correct compensation. That's not what we got. That's what makes me mad. That doesn't make us a 5-11 team. One guy doesn't make us a 5-11 team. It's a team game. So that's just my look on it. Again, you can be skeptical. That's fine. I'm skeptical.
I don't have a problem with being skeptical.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I cannot talk today. I don't have a problem with that if you doubt the team. But to just give up already before the game is played just shows me that you haven't played sports ever in your life or haven't done nothing team-worthy in your life. You don't go into the beginning of the season and say, you know what, we're only going to win 6 games.
Yeah.
I'm going to lace up any given Sunday, and we're going to win every game, go 16-0, win a championship.
For sure, dude. It's emotions. It's emotions people get into.
Frustrating, right? Because some of these people, are media people. Some of these people are YouTubers. And it's just really, we're supposed to be helping these, the fans. Hey, things are going to get okay. But, that was fun. Now you have a returning O-line for the first time in almost a decade. Absolutely agree. Continuity consistency is what makes teams great.
Yeah, I mean, and then again, we'll talk about it in the Hopkins trade because this is my point. I've been like waiting to say this all day, but we'll talk about it when we talk. I mean, about the Watson comments, but I forgot what I was saying. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I forgot what my point was.
No, I mean, we got a second-round pick for DJ and D-Hop. New era. I didn't like the trade. Like I said, I don't care that you traded DeAndre Hopkins. It's consistent. It's what you get back. Because later that day, we see Stephon Diggs get dealt for 5 picks. Now, that could all be erased if David Johnson absolutely goes on a tear and balls out, but that's a big if with him. One thing we do know about him is that he wants to be here and he wants to play for William O'Brien. Do you think the Texans are still interested in AB because he said recently that he's not retiring? I think so. I think that if Deshaun Watson, if your QB tells you that, hey, I want this guy, you have to go get him. He's been seeing counselors. He's been trying to get better. He hasn't gotten in any trouble whatsoever. And, if the Houston Texans manage to get a healthy and a game-motivated Antonio Brown, then this is going to be deadly.
Yeah, definitely something. And maybe they're not as interested because now you're not. I mean, I don't know. This might be just me just talking here, but Jamal Adams is off the table. Now you have Will Fuller. You keep Will Fuller at that point unless you're trading Stills for something else, for maybe a pick or another player on the defense or something like that. I think they're still interested for sure. There's no reason not to be.
There's no reason not to be if he's on the market.
Yeah, unless they have real concerns about if he gets suspended or not. But even then, like I just said, you still have the rest of the receiving core. If he misses 4 games, I think we'll be all right.
DJ will be running behind the best line he's ever had, and for the first time, a playoff team, he gonna ball. In 2016, they had an amazing offensive line. The Arizona Cardinals did. And the thing about that last season, we saw Kenyon Drake go absolutely nuts towards the end of the season. So it's kind of like they gave up on David Johnson, and he probably gave up on the Arizona Cardinals as well.
Look, so, I mean, change of scenery can change everything. We saw Garyon Conley. System change can change everything, but he looks like he lost a step. He is not the back of 2016, and that's just what it is. I mean, he's a great receiving back. And we have him and Duke, both great receiving backs. But at some point, you need to rush the ball and do it effectively. And now I know the line is going to be better. I think it's going to be better. That's the one thing I'm not worried about besides Watson on this team. But ultimately, you could have got his production probably somewhere else. We got it with Hyde last year. I mean, we got it with Hyde last year, and you're not paying a running back who hasn't been that great for 4 years $12 million. So we lost the trade. It's just that simple. Running backs are honestly one of the least valuable positions in the NFL. They're easy to fill. David Johnson was not. It wasn't a good move in my opinion.
Nesto says, I think they maybe send Stills to Green Bay. Would make sense to me if we get AB came to the Texans. I mean, I think there was a report earlier that they would send him to AB. Send Stills to Green Bay. I mean, why not? I mean, if you get Antonio Brown, you could leverage Fuller. Can you imagine this offense of Antonio Brown, Will Fuller, Kenny Stills, and Brandon Cooks as well? It's going to be deadly.
AB's running your slot at that point.
Cody drinks beer. Ruben's drinking Mickey D's. Little inside joke me and Cody have. Cody, how deep are we, bro?
We are 27 deep. Do you want to talk about the Watson stuff?
Let's talk about the Watson things. Before we do that, everybody drop a W in the chat. Let me know how is your Saturday going. We got to add New Era back into the Houston Texans group chat. If you want to be in the Houston Texans group chat, the one from my channel, we're about, 40 people deep?
I think we're over 40.
Over 40 people deep, and the best thing, in the off season, the group chats they're a little dead, but once that season gets wrapped up and start going, the group chat's gonna be. Alex Tapia in the chat, do an Insta group chat. I'll think about it. I'm not really on Instagram that much. I like the Cody and Kenneth debates. We were supposed to add Kenneth, but he is somewhere else. Dad, instead of a W, he gave us an L. So what good until I heard the news about Jamal Adams. I mean, Houston Texans were probably not going to get him, but what they gave the New York Jets, how can you say no?
Look, I mean, we said from the get-go it was about a 10% chance of it happening, and if we got into a bidding war, it was an immediate L. We weren't going to be in a bidding war with anybody, and Seattle just topped everybody in the bidding war. So, I mean, like, threw the kitchen table at them, So, that's a ridiculous amount to trade for a safety, man.
All right, let's get into it. This is something that a lot of people are really being pressed about the comments that Deshaun Watson made. He was talking to Mr. Michael Vick, one of the best mobile quarterbacks to probably ever do it if Lamar Jackson keeps this up. He said, I love the city of Houston. I love the organization. I love the teammates. But as we know, things change. So a lot of people are like, he wants out of Houston. He wants out of Houston. I don't see it that way. I think he sees it as if the Houston Texans don't make a step forward, if they don't take a step forward and we continue to be like this or even worse, then I am gone. And that's why I like the idea of a 3-year deal, because it forces the Houston Texans to stay good. Because we've seen teams, Cody, sign their quarterbacks for big time money and, they fall off, don't make the playoffs. Hey, in a couple seasons, that's going to be happening to the Chiefs. Deshaun Watson is not leaving Houston. That's just simple as fact. What you think about it, Cody?
So, again, I think people are reading too much into it. Yep. I think he's playing the system the way he can profit the most amount of money from it. If you listen to his comments, he talks about Kansas City and, that Patrick Mahomes felt okay doing a 10-year deal. Again, this is what I was talking about earlier. This is what I think he was, if you really look at it from Watson's perspective. He said things are changing in the NFL all the time. Like I said earlier, we have had the most turnover on offense, just on offense alone, in the NFL in the past 2 years. Again, 3 new linemen, 2 new running backs, a new tight end, 3 new receivers. He has been seeing this go on in his first 3 years in the NFL, going into his 4th year. Go look at the Chiefs. Look at Patrick Mahomes' perspective. What have they really changed the past 3 years? They've kept that squad together and brought in new pieces through the draft. Like this year, they got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They got the wide receiver last year, Mecole Hardman. And you also got to look at it. He's also, in the back of his mind, he's thinking, OB might not be here for that much longer. So I got to think about that when I'm talking about contracts, because if I'm getting a 10-year deal and then OB's gone after this year, or after 2 years, then I'm stuck on a 10-year deal not knowing who my coach is. Andy Reid is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs coach for the next 10 years unless he retires. I mean, you just really got to look at it from their point of view. How much changes in the NFL, and then say he signs a 3-year deal, like you said. His deal will be up in 5 years for a new contract. You can probably demand more than what Mahomes is getting. And even though Mahomes' contract is structured kind of weird, he gets less money at first, and then in that 5th year, I think, on the contract, or no, the 4th year on the contract, he tops 42, and then at one point he gets 60 mil. That 2027 he gets 60 mil. Nobody's really going to top that, I don't think. But cap goes up every year typically, except for this year. So he's thinking about this from a money perspective. I don't think he's worried about leaving the Texans. He's not talking about leaving the Texans. Right?
He just wants his bread. If it's me, if I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to get as much money as I possibly can. And, Patrick Mahomes in 5 years, that deal is not going to be good anymore if Patrick Mahomes continues to play like this. Houston Texans talk. Thank you for the $199. Talk about the cap and how it affects the Texans next season. Now, this is interesting because we heard that, that the cap might be like 179 mil. Cody, I'm not sure if you want to go on it, but check it out.
I'm sorry. Oh yeah. For they just changed it because they're going to be. I don't think it's in the books yet, but they're going to spread it out. Or they're going to pull cap from 10 years to adjust for this year. Or for 3 years in the future to adjust for this year, and having COVID and stuff like that. So I'm not. I don't. I can maybe look it up and find what it is going to be, but I don't think those numbers are in yet because that news just happened. That news just happened recently. So who knows how it will affect until we get actual numbers. How much we're decreasing this year. How much we're pulling from future years. It definitely affects it in the negative for right now until this COVID stuff ends and then cap can start going back up again.
Houston Texans said the numbers are in. So what are the numbers? Mr. Trejo, 179 for next year. I mean, I honestly feel like it's fine if you could borrow the cap from future seasons. You should be in a good position. The thing is that what you don't want to do is Josh Moreno, what's good? And then Trejo, well, thank you for that 199. What you don't want to do is spend too much of that money, right? Hey, you're going to get into that mindset. Hey, I have more money coming in next year. I could just borrow it, sign somebody good, and then now you're left in cap hell like the Eagles are. Because the Eagles are going to be in cap hell, and that's what you don't want to be.
Dude, we've been saying that for 3 years, and they managed to get new guys in every year. Cap's not hard to manipulate if you have smart guys in the front office. It's really not. Eagles literally do it every year. They were in cap hell last year, and they went and traded for Darius Slay and made him the highest paid corner in the NFL. How'd they do that? The Chiefs went from $177 to $10 million to where they're at $6 million now, I believe, for this year because they made some moves. But off one move, they made that much money off one move. Cap's not hard to manipulate. It's really not if you have those guys in the front office that know how to work it.
I absolutely agree. But, I mean, it is something to look at, especially New Era said that the Chiefs are going to be in cap hell. I mean, they will, but it's okay. Nathan Judd said, how about them Stros? The Stros are absolutely just murdering the Mariners. You love to see it. There was this tweet that said, it was like in the second inning of the first game. It was like, look how good you are when there's no trash cans, right? Obviously throwing a jab. Texans score. Astros score like 7 runs the whole game. The Astros are going to win the World Series. Edgar Peraza, Fest Frey, bro. Appreciate it. Everybody shout out to Edgar, one of the best insurance agents in the city of Houston. Patrick for GM, he gets the right thing. Yeah, we've already said that Patrick Storm needs to be the general manager for the Houston Texans. But I mean, this season it's going to be nuts, Cody. It's going to be nuts. Now, do you think there's a built-in excuse for Bill O'Brien if the Houston Texans don't succeed?
There shouldn't be. I mean,
what?
If there is, God, COVID. If there is, COVID came at the perfect time for Bill O'Brien. I don't think there should be. This is, he's had say the past 3 years in moves, draft moves, free agency moves, stuff like that. But everything's on his shoulders with the moves he made this year, right? He has to get to the AFC Championship game this year if we play a full season. If he doesn't, if he can't, he should be gone. I mean, how many playoff, blunders do we have to see? Does the owner have to see before we move on and say this isn't the guy? I don't want a Jason Garrett tenure. I don't want a Marvin Lewis tenure.
If he loses this year, and I hope we don't, right? You have to have faith in your team. Which head coach would you bring in? You already know mine, but which one would you bring in?
So it's tough for me to say. There's some guys I like. Harborough from Michigan. I know we have a connection with him. He was almost hired before Bill O'Brien.
I was excited for him.
Yeah, he'd be nice. I do think he wasn't great in Denver. The OC, Josh McDaniels, the OC for the Patriots. But if you go look at those Denver teams, there wasn't a lot of talent on those teams. I mean, I have to remember off the top of my head. I don't remember off the top of my head right now, but there was not a lot of talent on those teams. So, sorry, I'm reading that comment, but what was I saying? The DC from the 49ers also would maybe take a shot on. There's going to be guys, there might be a college guy, there might be Lincoln Riley. I can't say for certain. I have to do more research myself. I'm not high on Bieniemy, though, to be honest.
Why not?
I mean, he's the offensive coordinator for one of the best offensive minds in the NFL, and Andy Reid. Like I said, he might call plays there, but it's Andy Reid's offense. He might be able to pull stuff. That's great, but to say, it's just tough for me because what are we really seeing that Bieniemy is doing, and it's not Andy Reid? You know what I'm saying?
Well, what we do know is that the last coach to win a Super Bowl, not named Bill Belichick or Andy Reid, was Doug Marrone, and he did come from that Andy Reid system. I love the fact that I love that Bieniemy calls plays. He's going to be an offensive mind, a true offensive mind. That's something that I think that Deshaun Watson needs. Now, I'm going to let you watch this comment from Mr. New Era. Raul Perato said, Saludos, primo de Mexico, lindo y yellow. Hi, how is everybody going? I love you guys. Miss you guys. Hope you're having fun in Mexico. That is my family, man, the Perato family. There's family that come and go in your life, Cody. You have friends that come and go in your life. That Perato family, they're gonna be my blood they're gonna be people who I be with for the rest of my life. But Andy Reid took him his whole life to win one ring.
Are we really about to get back into this Andy Reid, Bill O'Brien?
Get back into it.
Dude, oh my God. I can't believe people actually compare Bill O'Brien to Andy Reid. First 5 years in the league, Andy Reid was in 3 NFC championship games and a Super Bowl. Of course, he didn't win. What's up?
I almost won that Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it took him a long time. I understand that. But he proved more faster than O'Brien did. And it's just that simple. And it's not, I mean, he inherited Doug Peterson that first year. I mean, there was some players on that team, but it's not like it was the Baltimore Ravens of this year, the 2012 Baltimore Ravens or something like that. Like, that team had pieces, of course, but, it's just Andy Reid is one of the best offensive minds in the NFL. And to compare Bill O'Brien to Andy Reid is just absolutely silly to me. What has O'Brien done? What has O'Brien done? Like, that's all I got to say to it. That's really it. O'Brien hasn't even made a championship game.
Oh,
so that is what it's about. But what has O'Brien done again?
O'Brien took a 4-2 team to the playoffs with no QB and did it consistently. Now let me get on this one. That 2-14 team had a lot of injuries. That season that he came in, the Colts were horrible. The Jaguars were horrible. The Titans were horrible. The Houston Texans went on a stretch where they were in division in NFL history for 3 or 4 straight years. I would hope that you win. And you know what happened when we went to the playoffs to prove it? You get bounced against the Chiefs. You beat Connor Cook with the third string left tackle. We were 2-14.
Dude, you have talent on that team, like Ruben just said. They were hurt. You still have J.J. Watt, who's arguably the best defensive player in the NFL at that time. You just draft Clowney. You have Whitney Merciless on the team. You have DeAndre Hopkins. You actually had an offensive line. You had Brandon Brooks, and you had Dwayne Brown, and you had Ben Jones. And then you get Jonathan Joseph, and you get Daniel Manning, and dude. Again, 2015 and 2016 were 2 of the top 20 worst divisions in NFL history. Our biggest competition was the Matt Hasselbeck-led Colts, or maybe it was the Titans, whatever.
It was the Jake Locker ran Titans, baby.
Yeah, dude, yes, credit to him for winning with Brian Hoyer and Brock Osweiler. 2015, Brock Osweiler's year, we also had the second best defense in the NFL. It's not hard to win a trash division with the second best defense in the NFL. I mean, that's as simple as it is. It evens out. If you put Bill O'Brien in this team in another division, any other division, those 2 years, we don't win it. And it showed, again, in the playoffs. When you got there, you didn't do anything. You got blown out 30-0.
Y'all giving so much leeway to the Saints that are mediocre at best, but Texans get you know. Okay, new era, bro. Love you. I want to invite you on the stream right now. Hit me up on Twitter right now if you want to come on. If not, no hate to you. But the Saints, they've won a Super Bowl, and in the past 3 years, they've been 2 horrible calls by referees away from the Super Bowl. We haven't even made it past a divisional round. And that's the thing. Bill O'Brien, like I said before, he is not a horrible head coach. He's not a horrible head coach. He just can't get it done. And at what point do you say enough is enough? You now have a franchise QB, and yet you haven't made it past the divisional round. Teams are now catching up to you.
You lost to a divisional rival at home in the playoffs.
Houston Texans, Todd Welk. Thank you for the 1-9. O'Brien went 18-0 with the Patriots, choke job. In the Super Bowl. I mean, it's just you can't compare Bill O'Brien to an Andy Reid. You can't compare him to anybody. Hold up, Cody. Talk why I invite him. Like I said, guys, the thing about us, right? And then Trejo, if you want to come on too, big dog, let me know. There's one thing that me and Cody do, even though we don't agree with your points, we want to hear you out. So I'm gonna be adding him right now, but it's hard to compare him. Like, in no way are these guys similar whatsoever. It just doesn't make sense, and it's infuriating because if you're gonna tell me that that it took Andy Reid 20 years to win a Super Bowl, like, what does that do for you? 20 years? Well, I'm going to be, 40, 50? No, dude, I'm not going to wait that long. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Cody, I know you're already pissed off, dude.
I'm tired of having this argument, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, look, I'll give credit where credit was due for O'Brien, but there's also a grain of salt. You got to have a grain of salt, man. Like, if he doesn't have Watson or 2 of the top, Watson wasn't his pick. It was Rick Smith's pick, not O'Brien's pick. If you don't have Watson, you don't have 2 of the top 15 or 20 worst divisions in NFL history. He doesn't have any division titles under his belt. Like, I can't just take away Watson, whatever. It is what it is. But, I mean, how long until we really not give in to this guy, but realize he isn't the guy? I'm not saying he's the worst coach in the NFL. I'm not saying that. But it's just there's got to be a point. There's got to be a point where we ask for more.
New era, can you please DM me on Twitter? Can I find you at the moment? We missed a lot of comments just going back on these guys. I apologize. But, this needs to be said because we still have people who believe that Bill O'Brien is the right guy, that they are negating his other years with the Houston Texans.
I mean, we act like we dominated the division last 2 years. We won the division by 1 game apiece the last 2 years. Coin flip of another game and we lose. As I understand, credit where credit's due, of course, like I said. But we weren't dominating anyone. And it showed, when he made it to the playoffs, he wasn't deserving. Look at the Buffalo game, dude. You're going down 17-0 to Buffalo. And I mean, great comeback, but are we really giving O'Brien the credit for that comeback, or are we giving it Watson?
You're not giving O'Brien credit for that comeback. Brandon Body Calhoun said, "Can I speak about Roman Cano? He messed me up during training camp." I don't know if that's the real Brandon Body Calhoun, but we are going to be adding.
If he wants to come on.
I don't want to just straight up and say that's.
I think that might be. I'm being honest. He was on. Why am I forgetting their name? Texans Unfiltered in the chat, I believe, the other day.
Brent Bodycone, is that actually you, big dog? That would be dope, right? Our first NFL player on. Hold on, let me.
Oh, it is a troll? Okay, I wasn't sure, but.
It's a troll, LOL. That's going to be tough. Trejo, what do I need Skype? No, bro. You need a computer, and I'll send you the link. I personally don't have a problem with Bill, but he was very charismatic. Oh, this is a troll. All right. Okay. How do you feel about Eric Murray, Cody?
Not a fan. I don't know really what we saw. I know Texans thoughts Jordan, just did something on what he saw, and he maybe has some potential, but there was starting positions open in Cleveland, and he couldn't cut it. Like, he didn't get any play time, honestly. He didn't get very much play time as it is. I don't know. This just kind of feels like another Aaron Colvin situation to me, going off potential, to play in the secondary, and I just feel like it's not really going to work out.
Dead Shred has said Watson was Rick Smith's gift to Houston as he was bounced out of town. I mean, not wrong. That whole rookie season with Deshaun Watson was just amazing. And shout out to Jordan, who's been grinding. Shout out to all the Texans and Unfiltered people. Shout out to any Texans YouTuber. Because what we do now, dude, with no sports, now the sports getting back up, is very, very difficult. New era. I sent you the link in your DMs, bro. Feel free to click that. I just think it's time for a change.
I think so too. Like I said, do we have to give him the Jason Garrett 10-year? 10-year. You look at go compare Jason Garrett's career as coach to Bill O'Brien's career right now. It looks awfully similar.
Mr. New Era.
Yo, what's up, man?
All right, my only thing is do not curse on this live stream. We have little kids watching. We try to keep it as friendly as possible. But
for sure,
you are an avid Bill O'Brien supporter, an avid one, and you've been like this.
Look! I wouldn't even call me a Bill O'Brien. I'm a Texan supporter.
I can't hear him.
You can't hear me?
Perfectly. I can hear him perfectly.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe it was the same thing we had with Harley the other day, but I can't hear
him. What did we do for Harley?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Oh, take off your headphones, bro.
Oh shit! All right.
Gerardo, in the meantime, segue. How about them Astros, baby? How about them Astros, man?
All right, y'all can hear me now.
Cody, can you hear him?
Talk for me.
Talking.
Nah, I'm not getting nothing.
That is confusing. Let me take you off and add you right back on.
All right.
He said that he is a Bill. He's not a Bill O'Brien supporter, but a Houston Texans fan. Now, I'm all for diehard, right? I'm all for, being loyal to your team. But at some point, you have to say enough is enough, right? At some point, you have to say this is not the way to go.
If you want to add him back and I can't hear him, just let him talk, and then kind of, if you want, just repeat what he says to me if that's how you want to do it. But whatever works for you.
Yeah, because he was working on mine. I'm not sure why he was working on yours. Just look at what Bravo has done when out from under Romeo and O'Brien's thumb. That whole thing. He has Derrick Henry, dude.
If it was only Derrick Henry, Marcus Mariota would have still been starting for that team.
I don't believe that.
Just saying.
Okay. Look, I'll give it. Ryan Tannehill is a very good upgrade over Mariota. But in those 2 games that they won, he was under 100-yard passing in both those games. And Derrick Henry had over 150 yards.
Well, if it's working, don't go away from it.
Okay, so push comes to shove. Do you trust Ryan Tannehill late in games? I don't.
I probably no. Like trust him like and compared to who? Like Watson? Obviously not. I mean, I think Tannehill is the quarterback that lets them do what they want to do, which is run play action. But play action works without an elite running back, and he's actually a pretty good play action quarterback. I'm not going to say he's gonna sit there and be throwing dimes, fourth quarter comeback, stuff like that. But that team isn't built for comebacks anyways. They're built for getting the lead and then just running away with it. So
let's see if we could bring them back in. Hopefully we can. Hello? He hasn't gone on yet. Trejo, you could join on your phone, but we want to get in with Mr. New Era. And we have Mr. Aaron Rodgers joining the chat. Mind if I speak on my coach, Matt LaFleur? He backstabbed me in the draft, and I feel uncomfortable playing for the Pack.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
Y'all know what we do here, man. This is, what we do is off the dome, off the top of our heads. We love talking to the fans. Mr. New Era.
I think I heard him say something.
Wait, y'all can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. New Era, what is your name? Because I don't want to call you Mr. New Era.
It's PT.
PT, that sounds much better. So, you just said you're not I'm a Bill O'Brien fan, but you're a Houston Texans supporter. So, can you let the people know, let the fans know, and I'm actually excited for this, Cody, because we haven't had a Bill O'Brien fan ever. Mr. PT, the people are asking you, can you turn on the light so they can see your face?
Yeah, let me hold on.
Cody, I'm so excited because I've been trying to get a Bill O'Brien fan on this channel.
Dude, I know. It's been
a long time. Ask Mr. Ayo No, and Ayo No ran from us. He's not doing YouTube, so ladies, him. PT,
what's up?
Let us know.
So, man, look, I see a lot of Bill.
I just said that he. What's up? All right.
Look, I see a lot of Bill O'Brien hate, from everybody because of the Hopkins trade. It makes no sense. Look, we got to look at the facts over here. All right, I'm biased because I love Hop, bro. He was my number 1 receiver. You feel me? But you got to look at the facts. This boy just gets 1,000 yards every year, maybe 12 TDs at best, maybe like 1,500 yards, but 14 TDs. That's cool. That's cool and everything. When we had no quarterback, when we had Brock Osweiler, Brian Hoyer, Case Keenum, all them stupid dudes, right? You feel me? Now we got an elite quarterback. Now we have a quarterback that we are a team that always made the playoffs and got beat up and back home. You feel me? With Watson, he's the guy that's supposed to get us over the hump. Not Hop, nobody. It's Watson. Bill O'Brien, his play calling is iffy. I agree with y'all. Tim Kelly's doing the offensive coordinator now, so I have more hope for the offense being more explosive and everything. But the hate OB gets, I don't get it. We had the worst O-line in the league, and he trades for Laremy Tunsil. We get a couple rookies. They ball. We're almost top 10 O-line, but Howard goes down, so we're like top 15, I want to say. All right, Hop. Here's the problem with Hop. I watched every Texans game. You feel me? And I was waiting for the moment where Hop and Watson had that electric connection that nobody could stop. I never saw that all season long. I never saw that. I saw 10, 20 yards maybe to Hop, maybe, and he goes down. All right, Hop is a great possession catcher. Tip is, toe drag swag shit. He got that. You feel me? But with Watson, we need a speed. And my perfect example is Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs had a team built for Patrick Mahomes. They didn't have a good defense when, last year, but before they won the Super Bowl. They had an okay defense, but they still balled on offense. They improved their defense a lot, right? Which I believe our defense has improved a lot. The biggest question is the pass rush to me. Like, if JJ is healthy, I feel like we'll be good. We'll see about that. But the hate OB gets, just think about it.
I asked you, yes, Bill O'Brien has done good things for this team. I asked you, is he the guy, yes or no? Because
is he the guy? I think so.
Okay, so he's the guy.
I think him and Watson are going to be a good duo. The only reason I say that is because what he did this season. He put his balls to the floor, and he said, Hop, you want too much money. Hop, you want too much attention. Because Hop, bro, if you see the game film, you see Watson step back, look right at Hop when Kenny Stills or Darren Fells or Jordan Akins is wide open, and he will wait for Hop to try to get open. He might force a pick. He might take the sack, or he might just run out of pocket. Who knows, right? Watson's athletic. We already know that. But, man, like, you got Cooks, Fuller, and Cobb in the slot. You got DJ and Duke, right, in the backfield. I just want y'all to think about this. Just one thing. What defense is going to stop Cooks and Fuller running deep with Cobb and our tight ends plus our running backs killing the middle? No matter how good your defense is, no matter how if you double Cooks or Fuller, dude, if you let Cooks or Fuller beat you with speed, then the touchdown's going to be open. If you don't, that's okay. The check down's going to be open. The middle of the field is going to be open. That's how it's always going to be.
Okay, so I got multiple things to say.
Let's respond.
I got multiple things to say. First, just the Watson-Hopkins connection. You don't think the double spin move in overtime versus the Cowboys last year was a good connection, or the Seattle Seahawks? What was it? The
screen pass.
Screen pass.
Yeah, the screen pass that went for 72 yards for the touchdown.
Yeah.
Okay, look, those are two plays that I'm talking about that.
I was just touching on your electric play.
Yeah, by electric connection, I mean every game that people are like, damn, you feel me?
Well, you're not going to see that from him. He's a possession receiver. You're looking for that Tyreek Hill thing.
No, not even Tyreek Hill. Like, I'm not even I'm talking about where, let's say, Hop is double teamed. Yeah, like Hop is double teamed. Everybody is like shut down, and Watson has only one hope to throw it to, and that's DeAndre Hopkins, and he throws it up, and DeAndre Hopkins gets open. You know how when Mashab and Andre Johnson used to be? I never saw that with them. I just never did. Like, I wanted to, but man, I never saw that connection that I wanted to see from Watson and Hop. Like,
so what has Bill O'Brien done to make you feel like he is the guy? Because
to me, this is the break it.
Players, is nice and all fine and dandy. I mean,
for real, for sure.
I mean, hell, like the Dodgers have been spending money. They had a payroll where they were almost $900 million players. They can't win a in their life. All fine and dandy.
Nah, I feel you.
Can O'Brien coach enough correctly?
To me, this is the year for me. Make it or break it, and I'm really expecting a Super Bowl appearance to be. OB got his team. He got everything he wants. He gave everything Watson needs. I don't see a reason for us to fail. So if we fail, I don't see OB on the Texans, to be honest. But I don't expect him to fail because every year we have gotten better. If we just think about it. Like the first year with Watson, rookie season, was the first year we missed the playoffs because he went down. We come back. We go to the playoffs. DeAndre Hopkins, his shoulders messed up. Watson has that rib problem. We were all banged up. We were first round exit. Man, this year, Watson did that magical thing in the Bills. We all saw that, but it wasn't just Watson. Like if you watch the game in the first half, Watson missed a lot of open passes. Watson got on his, got his stuff together in the second half, and he pulled it, and he did his magical thing, and Watson won the game for us. But the Chiefs game, our defense was terrible. 8 straight touchdowns. Come on, no team is winning when you let the opponent score 8 straight touchdowns on you. That's 24-0. Come on, we beat the Chiefs 31 points in the regular season.
Cody, I'll let you go back on that.
So I don't know. There's a lot to touch on here, but O'Brien's been to the divisional round in the AFC Championship, or not the AFC, the wild card game before Watson. It's just I feel like reading the same book over and over. I'm seeing the same show over and over. It's I understand
you can't count before Watson. That's just
you have to count before Watson.
You have to count.
But that's before a franchise quarterback.
Everybody gives him credit for the 4 division championships. That was before Watson. How are we not counting it now? How are we not?
All right, fine. If you want to do it like that, then you can.
I mean, I'm just saying. I hate the division title argument, but that's another topic. So
I only do the division title argument when people are saying OB is trash. I'm saying if OB was trash, we would have never won the division. It's straight up. I mean, winning football in the NFL is hard itself. Winning Super Bowl is even harder. It takes time for everything. Especially with a franchise, when you don't even have a quarterback, it's too hard. Like, let's face it. But to me, it's like, if you want to shit on OB, that's fine. But then you have to have the same energy for the rest of the 26 teams that are in the same or worse position than we are. People are saying the Arizona Cardinals are better than us. Do you really believe that?
No.
Come on, exactly. Like, look at their division, first of all. Seahawks, they just got Jamal Adams. Sheesh.
Okay, so what's the topic here? I'm just losing track.
I mean, the whole topic is does he think O'Brien could be the guy? And I just don't think so.
I don't think so either. I mean, 24-0, yeah. Like you said, defense 8 straight touchdowns. You can't beat that, of course. Defense
but you can't give that. I'm saying you can't put all the blame on OB on that loss.
I'm not putting it all on him, but he's also the GM who put a lot of those defensive players in place. He's the head coach who left Cornell in place. He's also the coordinator who couldn't sustain a drive after the first quarter. I'm not saying all of it's on O'Brien, but you have to put some blame on O'Brien.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All you gotta say is, how do you not have a play for 4th and 1 when Deshaun Watson is one of the most mobile quarterbacks, best mobile quarterbacks with the rock in the NFL? And PT, we are not saying that O'Brien is horrible, and you haven't been saying that as well. But it's just, at what point do you say enough is enough and get rid of him?
Look, I feel y'all on that. Like, I really do. I say it's after this year will be enough is enough. But the whole, my thing is, if you're going to use that same logic, you got to use it with the Saints. You got to use it with the Browns. You got to use it with... People think the Browns are better than us. Come on, bro. Like, people are just exaggerating. The Saints have been a 7-9 team for the past couple of years. In the past 2 years, they were balling out, and they lost in the playoffs. Yeah, the refs screwed them over. 2 years ago.
The Saints might have the most roster in the NFL.
Championship.
Huh?
Like 2 plays away from the Super Bowl. A horrible offensive pass interference that should have been called. And the Stephon Diggs miracle that has happened.
I mean, look, let's go back to the AFC.
But that's still football.
Let's go back to the AFC. I mean, every team in your division has made the AFC Championship game while under your tenure for this team.
That don't matter. If they don't win a ring, it don't matter.
It don't matter, but why do division championships matter?
I personally don't even use
I'm
that
not
argument.
saying you're I'm just saying in general, because that's an argument for a lot of teams.
No, okay, look, yeah. If you want to use the division titles, then yeah, AFC championships matter. But to me, I'm trying to win a ring. That is it. I want a Super Bowl.
You got to get to the AFC championship game first.
Exactly. So, but what's the point saying, "Oh, I got to the AFC championship, but I never got to the Super Bowl"? Like,
if you're comparing two teams that don't have the ring, like you're comparing Tennessee, and Houston or whoever it may be, you got to compare the accolades they do have, and the AFC championship is better than anything O'Brien's done.
No, okay, look, for example, when the Jags went to the AFC championship, people said they were the better team, and then they tanked. Titans went to the AFC Championship because Derrick Henry, and now somehow they have faith in Ryan Tannehill, I guess. But they're probably going to tank too because Ryan Tannehill ain't going to do nothing. I ain't scared about him. Okay, we got Deshaun Watson. So in my head, you can go to the AFC Championship. What's the point of going to 10 AFC Championships and losing them all, right?
I'm with you, but what's the point of going to the divisional round and losing two?
The thing is, we just want more because since O'Brien has been the head coach, I have graduated high school, 2 years in college, and we haven't been nowhere near any type of success. And I hate when people bring up, the 9-game win streak. I hate when people bring up stuff like that because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You need the pelts on the wall, and O'Brien doesn't have pelts. He does not.
I don't know. Like, to me, it's just, like, it's a too little time frame. Like I said, like, winning without a franchise quarterback is hard itself. You have to have a great defense just to get to the playoffs if you don't have a franchise quarterback, which we did, and we showed it. Now, this is, Watson's third full year as a Texan?
He's going into his fourth year, yeah.
Yeah, but third, full. Right?
Yeah.
So third full year, I'm giving him this year because now Watson's healthy. He has a team he wants. There's no excuses for B this year. I'll say that. Like, he needs to win. But in the end of the day, like, you can talk about all these appearances, all these division titles. It really doesn't matter because if you're not winning, only one team wins the Super Bowl, right? So
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Look, I mean, you just to touch on Hopkins real quick. I already said, I've said multiple times, he was expendable. You just got to get more in compensation. All right, I don't care necessarily. Yeah. Traded Hop, you just got to get more in comp. And then you grab all these new guys. Like you said, you got David Johnson, Duke Johnson, all the receivers. That's great on paper. Your coach also has to be able to scheme it up. And now there's a new play caller. That's great. New face can be great. And I like some of the stuff I've been hearing about him. But it's ultimately O'Brien's playbook. And that's what it is. And again, it's great on paper. We got to see it in person. Like you said, is there a defense that can stop us? I mean, look at the Baltimore Ravens. If you can tell what the scheme is going to be, it's not going to be hard to stop. And then we've seen that before. Now, the scheme has been flawless at times, like in Atlanta or in Tennessee, the 57-14 game. But you also had Baltimore last year. You had the Denver game last year. You had the Carolina game last year where it just wasn't showing, and a lot of it was on scheme. And like you said earlier, Watson was missing guys last year. There's also games, you go look at the Jags game, that nobody was getting open. That's with Will Fuller, playing as well. So like I was saying, O'Brien is he's a lower half coach for me in the league. And I just don't want to give him a Marvin Lewis tenure. I don't want to give him a Jason Garrett tenure. I don't think
for that, all I gotta say is like with your what you just said when there was not a lot of guys open. I would say we didn't have a lot of like depth in wide receiver last year. Like,
not a lot of teams do.
Yeah, not a lot of teams do. But like if you look at it, like I forgot what game it was. I want to say it was against the Broncos, where if Kiki QT made that catch, we would have probably went down and scored, and it would have changed the game up. But he dropped the ball, and then or he didn't even drop the ball. He just like hit the ball, and it got picked. Like he did something stupid. So it's like it's one of those things. Like it's a different situation. I get what you're saying, but in the end of the day, is speed kills. Chiefs showed that if you have a franchise quarterback with good enough wide receivers that have speed, you can shred defenses. So in me is Cooks, Fuller, all that.
Mr. Trejo, Houston Texans top YouTuber. How's it going?
What's going on, guys? How is it?
Can y'all hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Okay, Mr. Trejo, they were asking that you are sideways, and if you could turn your camera.
I think he's good now. Oh no, he is sideways on the.
Yeah, so if you could switch your camera, yeah, this happens a lot.
Okay, let me see.
But Trejo, while you are fixing the camera,
real quick, Ruben, let me say to the speed kills thing. That's great and all. Speed does kill.
Good, right?
But if it's Adam Gase running the Kansas City Chief and not Andy Reid, that speed doesn't kill quite as much. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, can you say that again? Kind of broke up.
I'm saying, speed kills. You're right, and it does. But if you have Adam Gase running that Kansas City team and not Andy Reid, that speed doesn't quite kill as much because the scheme's not there.
No, okay, I'll agree with you on that. When I say it took Andy Reid 50 years to win one ring, it
He's
wasn't
good
me.
now, Ruben. By the way, sorry. Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
It wasn't me hating on Andy Reid like he's a bad coach or nothing. I ain't saying that. I'm it was me putting into perspective it takes a long time to win. Of course, we're not trying to wait 50 years for the Texans to win a ring, right? But it's just everything takes time. Like for example, when O'Brien first came to the Texans, we were a 2-14 team. We had a lot of talent, right? 2013, I remember people telling us we were supposed to go to the Super Bowl, and then that shit happened. But we were still a 2-14 team, and the next year OB took us to the playoffs, and he took us to the playoffs year after year until Watson got injured in his rookie season. So for me, that shows that OB knows what he's doing to get to the playoffs. Now he finally gave Tim Kelly his the offensive coordinator duties, which gives me hope for a more explosive offense. And if that happens, honestly, I don't see anything wrong. I can really see OB taking this, OB and Watson. Because without Watson we suck. But
So Trey, like I said, guys, Houston Texans talk. Another Houston Texans YouTuber, one of the 20 of us that are out there. We are so little. Responding to Mr. PT that Bill O'Brien is the right answer for the Houston Texans.
I don't think so, man. I mean, look, you gotta. I've heard everything he said, and I think that's really looking at it in a singular way. You're not weighing in the fact that Andrew Luck was hurt most of these divisional championships or banners that you want to say. The fact that Andrew Luck retired last year, how much did that really affect Bill O'Brien's chances to get into the playoffs? You're talking about a Colts team who, yes, they didn't make the playoffs last year, but they were average, middle of the pack, even with a hurt, bruised knee, Jacoby Jones. You're talking about a Titans team who has only had 2 years of a new head coach and turned it all around. You're talking about O'Brien really dealing with mediocre coaches across across the field from him. The turnaround on these teams, the Titans have had so much turnaround in coaching staff, on offensive coordinators. The Jags had that one splash year, but then they weren't able to deal with the ego, started losing players left and right. They're now in a complete rebuild mode. And yeah, you can hang as much banners as you want. And look, that is kind of the formula for New England Patriots, right? Let's win the division. Let's secure the division first. But it's not just about securing a division. It's about getting a bye week. And that's what this team has not been able to do. In 2018, you lost a chance to have a bye week because you lost to the Eagles. We're talking about the devastating game after game. And as much as people want to say, well, that's on Crennel. Well, you're the head coach. You're in charge of personnel. You're in charge of everybody that's managing this team. So if Crennel is not doing his job, why do you continue to keep him around? You obviously don't know what you're doing on the defensive side, so you continue to really rely on other people. And the best head coaches, man, they know how to eye not only talent for the team, but they know how to eye coaches for their team and know exactly what those coaches need in order to succeed and be great. And as far as O'Brien is concerned, when Deshaun Watson comes out and says, look, Mahomes feels a certain type of way about Andy Reid, and that's the reason why he's so comfortable unlocking a long-term deal. As far as me and my agent, we got to go back and look at this because there's been a lot of movement. AKA, you really have taken a lot of talent, a lot of chemistry that he's built on the field. You're talking about a guy. Here's my thing about it, right? People say Deshaun Watson was zeroing in on DeAndre Hopkins. Well, go back and look at his rookie year when he was zeroing in on Bruce Ellington every third down, when Bruce Ellington was that sure thing for Deshaun Watson. So every quarterback, you look at Peyton Manning, every quarterback is going to feed the hot hand. They're going to feed the guy who has the sure hands, and that has been DeAndre Hopkins. That's where the question this year will be. If they choose to double team these wide receivers, I have not seen a time where Fuller has been double teamed and he's actually caught a ball between two players. I have not seen it on tape. If you guys have seen a game where that's happened, please let me know. But as far as I have, well,
I've seen
I've
Fuller
never
mock.
seen him double teamed.
That's it.
Brandon
Here's a
Cooks, if you double team Brandon Cooks, he's one hit away from a concussion. I would rather them
That's the
throw
first
to Brandon
excuse, bro.
Cooks
Every
than.
NFL player is one hit away from a concussion.
But that's what Brandon Cooks is, though.
No, I'm
Let's be
talking about
honest.
every NFL player is one hit away from a concussion.
Look, you're right. Every player is a one-way concussion, but he has a concussion problem. That's what it is.
I want to say that last year was his first year since I believe his rookie year that he hasn't played a full season. Like
It's
to
not
me,
even. It's not even about missing games. You get concussions. A concussion is a concussion.
oh yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, like I'm saying, it's a concussion problem, and he might be one away from having to call it quits. Like that's what Brandon Cooks is at this point, and just because that I understand he hasn't missed many games, but concussions are concussions.
To me, though,
it is.
To his points, I wanted to say basically, like you said, coaches have to see about the other coaches, the talent. OB has done all that. Like, look, and like I said, OB, I'm not even like a fan of OB. I'm just a fan of the Texans. I just want the best for us. You feel me? And you look at OB, and what does he do? Aaron Coleman loses the Saints game, and we cut him right then and there. He lost us that game. We cut him. All right? Romeo Cornell, you said he was a bad defensive coordinator, which he was. But the year before that, or 2 years before that, he had a number one defense. So I could see why OB trusted him. But OB failed. He failed this year. OB let him go, and now what? Weaver is our defensive coordinator now, right? Now we got Tim Kelly as our offensive coordinator, which I think is a great thing because now OB doesn't have to worry about that, thank God. But then you're saying about talent. He got Bradley Roby and Conley in the middle of the season last year, and people said Conley was terrible. He's one of our best cornerbacks.
So those of you guys don't know about Garyon Conley, traded to from the Raiders to the Texans, and what he does is he doesn't allow a wide receiver above 74 yards, doesn't allow a touchdown. My question to you guys, starting with Mr. Trejo, because you just got on the stream, right? How far? I'm sorry, not how far is, and then we'll go with Cody and then the PT. How do you see this offense really playing out? Because me as a fan, right, I'm very excited for this offense. The only thing about this offense is can they stay healthy, and that is the huge question for their team. Trejo, you just said that what's going to happen when they double cover Fuller, when they double cover Cooks. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering, but with this speed on this offense, you cannot afford to cover one single person because somebody is going to be open with the type of speed that we have. So, Mr. Trejo, you're doing very good, bro. I mean, of course, you're a YouTuber, but how do you see this Texans offense going?
I think this offense is really going to go depending on the defense. I think it's been that type of offense for a while, and people seem to not give it credit. But let's think about it. If the Texans have one stop against the Chiefs in that game, the offense could have picked up right back up where they had left off. But we saw no stops from there. So I want to say that the offense this year will definitely feed off the defense. I think the defense this year is going to have a franchise record, set-breaking record of QB hits, TFLs, and sacks. Like, I think that they are going to get after the quarterback this year to the point where even if you have Eric Murray back there as a safety, it's not going to matter because by the time that the quarterback decides to release the ball, it's going to be such a bad read that your DBs are going to eat because of it. Now, a lot of people say they are concerned with the pass rushing. I'm not as concerned because when it comes to Anthony Weaver, when you study the defenses that he's been under, that he's basically been a pupil of, these defenses blitz you in all types of way. They blitz you with the linebackers. They blitz you with the DBs. They blitz you with their front seven. You're talking about a guy who wants to use Grenard to blitz, John Reed to blitz, Roby to blitz, Vernon Hargraves to blitz, Zach Cunningham, McKinney. All these players that could blitz. And on top of that, you still got J.J. Watt. You still got Charles Omenihu. You still got people that can get after the quarterback. So I think that this defense will be a very stingy defense that will get the offense enough possessions to the point where, well, you know how you see sometimes the Texans can't get anything rolling on offense? They'll get the ball enough so many times that they're going to have so many attempts to score that we'll be able to be in the 27 to, I want to say, 35 range of points per game just because of how many times the defense will give you the ball back. And ultimately, that will actually decrease the amount of yardage that Deshaun Watson will have to throw for because he's constantly getting good field position based on where the defense is taking advantage of this. And so I think the numbers will be down as far as yards is concerned for Deshaun Watson, but I think the touchdown ratio will definitely go up. He has too many weapons. He's become a real killer when it comes to in the red zone. The guy's really has gotten to know his reads when it comes to the red zone. And at one point with Deshaun Watson, his sophomore year, that was one thing that he was struggling with, the red zone. And he's gotten really good at that. And I just really think that it really has to be based on this defense that the offense is going to eat. So I'm not as excited for the offense, even though we have all these weapons, as I am for the defense. Because if you guys remember, one thing that got people excited back in the 2012 era was this defense, man. The fact that they could go out there, sack a quarterback, intercept the quarterback, and give Matt Schaub or whoever it was at quarterback the amount of opportunities that they needed. Unfortunately, those quarterbacks aren't at the level that Deshaun Watson is. You give that many possessions to Deshaun Watson, and you get what you got in Week 6 against the Chiefs, which was, dude, we dominated in time of possession. And in the second half, the Chiefs only touched the ball twice. You talking about Patrick Mahomes only touching the ball twice in the second half? That is magical, and I think that's really what the Texans are aiming to do. And so that's my expectations for the offense.
Okay, so he kind of answered my second question I was going to ask after the offense. So you're good, bro. So Cody, the Texans off. Well, first let me give you guys my short version. I'm tremendously excited for this offense because of the offensive line. If this offensive line keeps Deshaun Watson upright, then the whole league is going to be in trouble. Cody said it himself. You don't have to have talent in the wide receiver position. You need to have a good offensive line. What the Houston Texans will do. Lerman Tunzel is about to get a full training camp with the playbook. Remember, he got traded a week before the season. You get Mike Sharpen, who people believe that will be, a very good player, who was like a nobody who we drafted but played spectacular. Nick Martin, underrated season. Right guard, a little questionable, but then you also have Titus Howard. This offense is going to be great, not only because of Watson, but because of this offensive line. Tannehill touched on it on the defense. This whole I want to get exotic is what excites me. The Baltimore Ravens were 27th in sacks last season, but they were 5 in QB pressures. Why? Because they blitzed 56% of the time. If Anthony Weaver could do that, this defense will be special. This defense will give the offense more opportunities. Mr. Cody, what are your thoughts on the offense and the defense?
You want me to go over both then?
Yes.
Okay, so the offense definitely intrigues me. It looks great on paper. It does. It's just tough for me to put it all together, and you still have O'Brien. It's still O'Brien's offense. Great. You have Tim Kelly calling plays. It's still O'Brien's offense, though. The enemy calls plays in Kansas City, but that's still Andy Reid's offense. You know what I'm saying? So, great on paper. Like Ruben was saying, the offensive line, that's the one thing outside of Watson I'm not worried about. The offensive line, with continuity, with another year under their belt together, it's going to be better. Watson, it's great. There's also injury concerns for a lot of these players. Cooks, with the concussions like we were talking about earlier. Will Fuller with his soft tissue stuff. Randall Cobb has had injuries, riddled career, all his career. David Johnson does not look the same from 2016. He looks a step slower. If he can get back to form, great. Change of scenery can always change stuff. But David Johnson, as a pass catcher, great. You got to be able to run the ball too, though. You got to be able, and maybe with an offensive line, a better offensive line that helps him. But Kenyon Drake did much better than he did in Arizona with the same team. You understand? You get what I'm saying? So I don't like the getting David Johnson. I didn't want him, even though before I knew Hopkins was in the trade. I don't think you can find running back production We did it with Carlos Hyde last year. You can find running back production. Both Super Bowl teams had undrafted rookies as their starting running back. They're not that valuable, and we're paying a guy $12 million who doesn't look the same for 4 years. So offense, I'm intrigued. I'm not so much worried about the offense as I am the defense. Now, he talked about pass rush a little bit. That actually does concern me. Look, you have Watt. Watt's still good. He's still got one of the fastest steps in the NFL. But if we're counting on Watt to stay healthy for a full 16-game season, I can't do it. He hasn't been healthy three out of the last 4 years. Now, if he can, great. That helps you. Watt being on the field helps everybody. And if Watt's there, awesome. Now, the other guys you mentioned, Charles Menahue, Jacob Martin, stuff like that, they were all situational pass rushers. I'm not going to sit there. Internal growth is a thing, and I hope that happens, but I'm not going to sit there and say all that internal growth is going to happen from Menahue, from Jacob Martin, stuff like that. And then we talk about Whitney Merciless. Whitney Merciless, after that first month of the season, pass rush win rate was god-awful. It was god-awful. And we just paid that guy $12 million. I would much have rather pay DJ Reader at that point and had Jacob Martin starting at your Sam linebacker spot than paying Merciless that money.
But he feeds off of JJ Watt.
I need a guy that can rush the passer even if you don't have an all-pro at the other side.
Yeah, I agree. That contract is a little iffy. But what Merciless was able to do alongside JJ Watt, 5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, the interception, was absolutely crazy. So, I mean,
I get what you're saying, but I need him to do more.
Like on his own.
Like one-on-one blocks. It was like he was winning at like 8%, and that's god-awful. That's horrible. DJ Reader was almost winning at that much percentage on double teams. You understand? You get what I'm saying? And DJ Reader we don't even use him as a pass rusher like that. So, or we didn't. But anyways, Blacklock, he's going to start right away. I don't believe those rumors that they're going to start Angelo Blackson. Blacklock's much better. He's also not going to have as much impact on the D-line as DJ Reader did last year. I have hope for Blacklock. He has Chris Jones potential, but as a rookie, he's not going to have as much of an impact as DJ Reader did. So the pass rush still worries me. Blitzing, more. I'm excited for that, but you also have to win your one-on-one blocks, right? Now, of course, blitzing more helps with that. Blitzing your linebackers helps with that, of course. But in the same breath, these are also rookie coordinators, both of them. I mean, Tim Kelly was coordinator last year, but this first time calling plays and rookie coordinator for the defense and Weaver. They're going to take their lumps, guys. I mean, especially in this offseason with not being able to work with the team as much as they're usually able to. They're going to take their lumps, and that's just what it is. The secondary I like. I don't like Murray. I don't really know what they saw in him. It is what it is. I like the secondary. I like that they're going to get another year under their belt as well. Continuity, knowing who's behind you, your assignments, stuff like that is great. Linebackers, Cunningham's great. McKinney, we need this season. I wouldn't mind trading him after this season, but they are both not that. McKinney's bad, really bad in coverage. Cunningham's not that great in coverage either. He's decent in zone. He's not very good in man, which we run a lot of man coverage. At least we did last year. So I'm concerned for this defense. If one guy goes down on that defense, we're really hurting. Like, we really are. If Watt goes down, we're hurting. If one of those secondary guys, like Justin Reed goes down, we're hurting in the safety position. Yeah. So that's just the offense intrigues me. The defense worries me, and that's where I am with this team. Having D4 on the offense gives me more hope, of course. Just defense has got to be there for you to win games. I mean, we saw it last year in Kansas City. You can't let up eight straight touchdowns.
PT, to finish us off for tonight, offense, defense.
Okay, so I feel like y'all would know what I'm about to say in offense. I think our offense is going to be a top 5 offense this year. I'll be honest with y'all. And I'll tell you what. Last year when Titus Howard was playing, we were projection to be finishing as a top 10 offensive line. Now when Howard went down, we reduced a lot. So this year, I feel like our offensive line will be top 10 for sure. With players coming back, there's no reason for our offensive line to regress. Now, wide receivers, Hop is gone, but we got some Brandon Cooks was the number one receiver for the Saints, for the Patriots, and for the Rams, and he took both of them to the Super Bowl, the Patriots and the Rams.
I wouldn't say
and the Rams Super Bowl.
Yeah, I wouldn't say take, but he was.
Oh yeah, okay. I wouldn't say
number one wide receiver.
But I would say in the Rams Super Bowl run,
yep.
20% of the production of offense was from Brandon Cooks. The rest was from Todd Gurley. But if you saw the production Brandon Cooks was doing in the Rams Super Bowl run, what do you got, like 1,200 yards or something with, I want to say, 8 touchdowns? And in the Super Bowl, he went off for like 100 and something yards. So I have hope for Brandon Cooks. Will Fuller, I think we all know Will Fuller can ball out. He just has to stay healthy, to be honest. But if he can stay healthy, I think Will Fuller will be one of the best receivers, I would say, top 15 receiver in the league, if he stays healthy. Randall Cobb, he's a true slot. So, like, he got what? Randall Cobb's a true slot. I don't understand the hate for Randall Cobb, to be honest. In the Cowboys last year, he balled out.
Well,
like, as a third, fourth receiver.
Like you pay him $30 million and he's 30 years old. Now, I am very excited for Randall Cobb, but the fact that you give him so much money is not embarrassing, but it's like, why would you give him so much money when there is another wide receiver who I made a video about, Mr. Robbie Anderson, who would have fit this Houston Texans team absolutely perfect. He's getting paid the same much as Randall Cobb. Like I said, no hate to Randall Cobb. Hope he balls out, but you clearly overpaid him.
I think we were trying to get Robbie Anderson, to be honest. I just don't think it worked out. And that's why we got Cobb, honestly. Because if we had a chance to get Robbie Anderson, I think we would. Because
I don't even think
perfect with us,
to be honest.
But Randall Cobb, at the end of the day, is a true slot. As a third, fourth wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys last year, he racked up 800-something yards.
That also helped him.
Touchdowns.
Being next to 2,000-yard receivers and then Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield, I mean, you're not going to get double covered at all. I'm going to give him his credit, but that also played a fact into why he got those 800.
No, for sure. But then if you look at our offense, I don't see him getting covered as much, too. Like, if you think about it, Cooks or Fuller can take the top of the defense. And then DJ, we are all hopeful for him that he can bounce back, but I don't see why not. Why he can't bounce back? He's healthy. He's still a good running back. He's a good dual threat running back at that. Plus, with Duke Johnson, we got in the backfield, and our tight ends are also not bad too. Like, in my head, no matter how you scheme it up for the defensive side, you can't cover the deep, the middle, and the check down all at once. And we have all players that play in their respective positions. Randall Cobb can hit the middle while Fuller and Cooks takes the top. Duke and DJ in the check down. Like, to me, this offense will work. Of course, we'll have to see when the season, week 1 starts. I think this offense will be great. Defensively,
pressed for time, so let me know what you think about how the defense will work, PT.
Yeah, defensively, same thing what Cody said. Pass rush, I'm still iffy. I feel like if JJ is healthy, our pass rush will be great. If JJ goes down, I feel like our defense will take a huge hit. Our secondary, second year, they're going to have chemistry. I think our secondary is going to be much better. Linebackers, I think Cunningham, last year he showed some great promises about how he was reading the plays properly, how he was reading screenplays properly. I think that shows promises. Defense, there's hope. I think we'll be a middle-of-the-pack defense at best. I don't see us being better than that. If we are, it means like one of our guys just balling out to me.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. PT, thank you for coming on. We didn't think, I've been trying to get a Bill O'Brien supporter on for a while. Mr. Trejo, we're definitely going to have you on again probably next week, more time than usual. We are also going to be having the NFL Weekly Predictions and Talk podcast coming on the stream next week. Talk about football, but guys, we were about 50 to 55 deep, at one point. We're going to keep on doing this every Friday night, give you guys something to look forward to. So as always, guys, go